Hey everyone, boo. Just kidding. I don't know, I do look pretty scary, huh? Do look pretty scary. I had a busy night. Um, I don't know why it is, but I usually have the last two, and two of them is my little baby granddaughter and one of her friends. And the other one's probably new too. And you know, that's sad. Hey, Carla, what are you doing this all Hallows Eve? I'm going to finish my beauty routine while I talk to people. Yeah, I was just saying that I did my spell. In fact, I may have to get up every once in a while because I still have the candle burning in there. And as y'all know, I have a cat that is very curious. I want my house burning down. But yeah, I did my spell, and a lot of times I don't put makeup on and all that stuff because it's, to me, when you go in front of the gods and goddesses, all natural, it's just better. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have your makeup on and all that. That's not what I'm saying. I just uh, I just feel that it's a lot of unnecessary work when you're concentrating on more of what you look like than what you're going to put into that spell. You see where I'm going? Trying to keep my husband in line. Yes, it is. It is really beautiful. Um, I know a lot of people just get completely crazy on nights like this. I guess it's all right if it's a good crazy. With me, I feel the energy so much. I get real hot and a little nervous, a headache like I'm getting now. But it's because I went in there and did that spell. So anyway, before I get too many on here, Carla, let me run in here and check that candle again, okay? I don't want to set my house on fire. Looking good in there. Um, as I stated before, I try not to bother Hecate on this night because she is so busy. I may say something really quick to her, but I also just try to do my own work. Had a certain spell that I wanted to do, and of course, I said a little prayer to Diana, my goddess of the moon. Some people say Artemis. Depends on what pantheon you're in. But anyway, yeah, I went and I took my, hi, Emily. Good to see you, sweetie. I rushed around so I could get on here and talk to y'all. But yeah, I don't go through all the makeup thing when I do my spells. Sometimes if I feel like it, I guess it depends. I'm going to bed anyway, so why have to put it on to take it right back off? You see what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am. I knew who you were. I'm glad you joined me. This is Miss Carla, a very sweet lady. But yeah, I got my stuff done. I had my moon water out, and I got a lot of it out this time. I mean, I have a lot of jars out there, big ones too. I mean, you know, the big ones. So that'll last me quite a while. Um, and it being a blue moon and Halloween, and I mean, it's just an awesome moon. You could not have water. Um, but a lot of people don't realize too that you can put your beauty products on your windowsills or outside if it's safe. Um, you can charge anything. You know, make them more powerful. And old women like me, yeah, I need all the help I can get. But I don't know. I look forward to Halloween, but there's so much I do and that I feel I need to do that it's kind of overwhelming. And I'm one of those people that I have to say, okay, slow down, stop a minute, regroup, you'll be okay. If you don't get it all done, it's okay. But I'm pretty hard on myself at times, so I shouldn't be that way. But I did a little video the other night about what all you can do on Halloween, all Hallows Eve, and there's just so much. I mean, and especially now you've got it combined with a blue full moon. Um, and don't be surprised if the activity around you and in your house or whatever isn't extremely active this evening, or from now through about 5 o'clock in the morning. Uh, I've actually gotten up and gotten mad at them before. Of course, my house is always a little active because I'm always doing something. But I'm uh, I'm also not very patient sometimes with them. And I mean, it's like a mama getting up, when her kids are acting up in the bedroom and they're supposed to be sleeping. Um, I'll get up and tell them, "You better be quiet, or I'm going to banish your ass. You're keeping me awake." And believe it or not, most of the time they listen. They're like, "Ooh, you better be quiet. We'll have to leave." And they like it here. But and I like them being here. It's just, I know people think I'm a little weird, but yeah. Anyway, but I mean, there's just so much you can do, and honestly, that's why I'm glad we have the 3 days. You have the day before, the day of, and the day after. So if you didn't get everything you wanted to do tonight done, now when I set out my moon water, I try to do it on the very night of the full moon. It hasn't always worked out that way, and I had to do it one of the other nights, and that's fine. Just for me, I like doing it, you know, on the night of the full moon. Uh, anyway, so have that. I'm almost done with my beauty thing. And if my internet starts going crazy and acting up, well, it's just because they're here, and I have to make them go away so I can talk. I had my spirit box on a little earlier, and it was just so active, and they were just coming in so fast, and I just ended up turning it off because when they come in that fast, they're not really making any much sense. So anyway, that's done. Y'all got to watch me put on my night cream. Smells so good. But yeah, you can try anything under the full moon. Like I said, your wrinkle creams or medicine. Um, Now, be smart about it. If you take medication, most of it has a certain what do you call it, temperature that it should stay at or not get over or under. So don't set it outside. If there's snow on the ground, duh. Set it somewhere where the moonlight shines in through the window and can get on it. Get my glasses on here. Hey, Marcus. I'm finishing my beauty ritual here. Okay. Got that done. Now I'm all yours. So what did everybody do? I mean, you don't have to go into detail about spells. We're not really supposed to do that. So, I mean, you can say I did a love spell or, whatever. I had several things I wanted to do tonight. I have a good friend that's kind of going through some turmoil, and I was going to try to throw in a spell for them. But by the time I get done with mine, like right now, my neck muscles and my back, everything is just so tensed up. And when I cast for a while, it does that. So I'll finish up tomorrow night. I'll already have, the majority of my stuff done. So that'll be all right. But yeah, between the trick-or-treaters and my spells and all that, and I love the smell of that lotion. I have a question to ask you. Can my crystal still charge with the moonlight if the moon moves to the other side? Yeah. Yeah, it can. The moonlight actually, I mean, I know if you can't see it, you don't think that it's doing anything, but it is. The rays and all that are still all throughout the night. So, I mean, if you can possibly put it to where, because mine moves, mine starts over here and it goes completely around my house. And by about, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning, it's west of me. So, there's times I move my water around. I'll just move it back on my patio as the moon moves. And sometimes I don't. It depends on, sometimes honestly, I forget to do it. And I have made moon water. And finally, about 11 o'clock the next day, I go, crap, forgot to bring my moon water in. Well, to me, it's no good anymore. The sun's rays have been on it for hours. So it's no longer moon water. I mean, I guess you could still use it. You could use it for, spells with the essence of the sun and the moon for whatever spell that might be. I don't know. Witchcraft, you can create anything you want, So, I mean, but yeah, I don't have windowsills big enough to put my crystals in the windowsills, or I would be doing that. Marcus, did you go away? Carla? Yeah, you can charge your like if you put hot oil treatments on your hair, perfumes, anything you want to add vitality to, go for it. My hair's still wet, so I'm gonna have to let it down so it can dry. I don't want to go to bed with it all wet, just simply because I wake up with it all over the place. So yeah. You also have to be careful too, because I do look like a full-blown witch right now, don't I? Whee! Ugh. I've gotten so fat too. Face is all fat now. I got these things. My grandma had these. Oh well, it could be worse. I could be in the ground, which I almost was. So I always try to remember that when I complain. But yeah, I love Halloween and definitely felt the energy of it tonight. In fact, it's really tiring for me. Sometimes, I mean, last year I was such a nervous wreck, I didn't think I'd be able to spell because I had so much energy, and it's like grabbing onto an electric fence, you just, that's how I felt. It's like, whoa, slow down. That's when you have to stop and ground yourself. You get your grounding stones and do what you do. But yeah, I wish it was Halloween every day. And another thing tonight, if you were to have time, you know, uh, tomorrow's the witches' New Year's. I mean, this is actually New Year's Eve for witches. I mean, you could write out your New Year's Eve plan or your New Year's plans, your resolutions or what you want to bring in. Do that, and then I always things out there with fire. So I would go to my cauldron and burn the petition, and be done with it. So I promise one of these days I will come on here and have makeup. I will look a little better. I'm Irish, so my eyebrows are red and my hair is red and very white. But I hope y'all are having fun and enjoying All Hallows Eve. If you do decide to converse with the spirits, as I always say, please be careful, know which ones you're talking about, and know your protections. Because honestly, some of them don't want to return to where they came from. They want to stay with you. And do you blame them? I mean, if they've been wandering all this time, they don't know where to go, what to do. I mean, a lot of people try to help them get there, but they can be not only scary, but a pain in the butt, you know. They can bring negativity into your home, just bad karma, depending on what kind of spirit they are, good or bad, or, I mean, people say, well, there's no such thing as good or bad spirits. Okay. Yeah, there are. There are, very definitely. So, but I mean, usually you can talk to them. If you acknowledge, a lot of times they'll make the noises and all that just to announce their presence. And if you don't acknowledge them, if you think, oh, well, God, that's just a bird tapping on the window or whatever excuse you make, you're in the long run, you're going to upset them because they're already, I wouldn't call it frustrated, because to me, ghosts don't have the emotions that they did whenever they were alive. I mean, there's no way they could. Does that make sense? They may have certain energies, whether it be positive or negative, just like anything else, positive or negative. I mean, a battery can't talk to you. It can't, tap on a wall or it's an inanimate object, but you hook it up to something else and it makes whatever work. Do you see the metaphor I'm trying to make here? I know that was a long roundabout way to do it, but I'm that way. So in order to have energy of their own, they have to find an energy source. And a lot of times that's why you'll see lights flicker, or we have the spirit boxes that they will come through on. I've been sitting there typing on my computer a message to a friend of mine, and all of a sudden it just started typing its own thing. I'm like, I didn't write that. Seriously, that's happened to me. And I actually stopped and thought, well, I know I'm not the same as I was before that heart attack, but wow, did I do that? And, I just don't remember it, or did something possess me for a few minutes and write it? And it wasn't bad. It was just something that I don't even remember what it said now. It was just something that made no sense to the conversation we were having at all. Or all of a sudden a name will come to me out of nowhere. No, I don't hear it. There's not a whisper. There's not a flash of a name in front of my eyes. I just have this knowing, all of a sudden a name. I don't know. But if you acknowledge them and you try to converse with them and ask them, can I help you? Is there something that I can do to ease your existence, or, get you to where you need to go? Now, I will say one thing. If you are not an experienced witch, please don't go delving in this stuff. Have an experienced witch with you, or a person. There are occultists out there, not necessarily occultists, but people that do things like that are not necessarily labeled as witches, if you know what I mean. Um, Now, whether they may say, yeah, you've got a ghost, but unless they've done their homework, they don't know how to get rid of that ghost or not take the energy home with them. I watched this part. I'm not going to say any names because, um, and you may know who I'm talking about if you watch them too, but this person travels quite a bit and goes to different places, and they're haunted. And here lately, they have just been um, extremely uptight, um, almost to the point where, they feel like they're going bonkers, and even to the point to where it's starting to affect their health. This can happen. This is why every witch will tell you, no matter what, I'm not going to say side you're on, I'm going to say what path you're on. You have got to know how to protect yourself. You have got to know how to get rid of something if it enters your space and you don't want it there. Because I'm telling you, it's harder to get rid of them than you think. You're going to have a lot of power behind you. Um, you're just going to have to be taught how to do it. And the newer witches just don't have that kind of experience. They may, and I'll tell you, it's scary as hell, especially when you're fighting against something that you really can't see. I mean, to avoid all this, don't go seeking them out. There's plenty of them roaming around, and they're just waiting and looking for an invitation. Now, if you know how to protect yourself and you know how to banish them if they're being assholes, so be it. Rock on. But don't just go out there, with no protection barriers up, and then you get home and all of a sudden your kids are sick all the time, and you and your husband are fighting all the time, and your whole life goes, it becomes a mess. And that's because you have brought negative energy into your home. There's something else among you. And that's why I always say, when you go to a graveyard, and I do this, I will go, that's where I go straight to it to get my graveyard dirt. And I have enlisted servitors. But you have to know what you're doing. When you're walking around out there in that graveyard, you have to realize that is a different kind of ground. The dirt that you get on your shoes, even. You get in your car, okay, well, particles of that dirt then it's still in the floorboard of your car, you know? Um, when you get out of the car, you walk up your steps. It's all coming up your steps. You walk in your house, you're tracking it all through your house. Well, this energy's all around you. You have done nothing to protect yourself. So, of course, that entity has free reign. Then you have to go through the trouble, and I do mean trouble because it is not that easy to get rid of them, not for good. I mean, there's several things you can do. You can do uh, the lesser pentagram banishings, um, which is the most common. I wouldn't call an exorcist or a priest because honestly, that doesn't work. They're, these spirits and even some of these demons are not afraid of these priests. That will not help you. You have to know just the right thing to say to throw them off kilter. And I like using my goddess. I will throw her at them because she is the queen of the dead and she is not going to put up with that, you know. And they don't want to reckon with her, if you know what I mean. Um, she can put them in an extremely bad place, and they just don't mess with Hecate. But like the dummy suppers, you know, that we call dummy suppers, where you make your meal and um, set a plate for your loved one that has passed on. Um, you can set pictures up on the table, you know, or an altar, however you want to do things. But whenever you start hearing things, don't automatically assume that that's your grandma or your mom or your dad. You know, I mean, it could be anything, and they want to honestly they want to fool you because if you think you know who they are, then they're safe. You won't banish them. You know they'll be able to dwell among you. They miss living. Now, not every spirit's this way, and not every spirit returns. You know, um, I kind of like to look at it like, okay, for say you were, I don't know, living in this home. Um, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a scenario. Okay, you were late on your mortgage too much and they ended up taking your home. Well, they pretty much put you out of your home, so you had to go someplace else. Okay. You may have had no family there, so you had to move to another state. Bear with me, I'm getting there. But you're always thinking about that home and how much you miss that home and you want to go back. So eventually you find your way, you find a way, whether it's drive yourself, ride a bus, fly, to go back and look at that house. If not, you know, walk up to the door and ask the new owners if you can just walk through it. You know, that's kind of how I think spirits are with this earth. They're in a different realm. Some of them may not like it there. Some of them may actually still be tied or connected in some way, some form to this world. And I mean, it could be a lot of things, you know. When somebody leaves really suddenly, and it's so quick that the transformation between life and death as we know it, takes place so quick that they don't know what's happened. I mean, all of a sudden, you know, they're standing there looking at their loved ones and they can't hear them. They're saying, "Hi, mom, I'm right here," and mom don't hear them. Or the next thing you know, they see everybody at their funeral, and then they're like, "What happened? I was literally just there." I mean, you don't know. That's what I was saying the other night. You honestly don't know what it's really like until you cross over. And as most of us witches, I mean, we believe that we go to Summerland. But wherever it is, evidently, there are a few that can still come back. And the witches that have the power to summon them, give them the power to come back. You see what I'm saying? But and if one ever does appear around you, and you'll know. I mean, at first you may go, "No way, what was that?" Or did I just hear that? You'll be telling yourself, "No, I've lost my mind, or I'm too tired," or whatever excuse you make, until it keeps happening. Things move, things disappear. Um, like I said, there usually it's not a very good energy because they're not happy most of the time because they can't connect with you. It aggravates them. Um, I honestly believe that's why they slam things. It's like, wham, slam that cabinet. Now, did you hear that? Do you know I'm here now? I think that's some of their only ways of conversing with you, unless, of course, you have a spirit box. And then once you turn one of them on, well, you've thrown out an antenna, to everybody in the underworld. You may have thousands trying to get to that, to talk to whoever, and then you have to sort through all that garble. But I don't know. I mean, everybody has a different belief about it, and that's just mine. So, um, as I always say, take it how you will. I personally don't invite them in my home. Um, there's been a couple of times where I felt a presence that was extremely sweet and nice. I mean, you can just feel that energy, loving, caring. And it kind of reminded me of my grandmother. Not saying it was her, but I had an understanding with that spirit. It's like, okay, don't scare me, number one. Don't tear up my house. Don't hurt my pets or move things around on me where I can't find them. You're welcome here, but don't disrupt my life. You know, I'll talk to you every day, the whole day I'm home. Just don't make my life miserable or I will get rid of you. Um, a lot of that works. Seriously, they're just happy to be there and they're happy that you're allowing them to be there. And then once again, you've got some of the ones that aren't so nice and are there to do nothing but wreak havoc because they're in their own right miserable, confused. Now and then I see a little Chinese boy with black hair sitting in my mother's bathtub. And my lip just appears. Why is that? Um, I don't know. Do you know the history of that house? Who might have lived there before? I don't know. It could be anything. Maybe a little boy drowned in that bathtub. Maybe someone drowned him in that bathtub. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. Could be just simply because he had never moved on. Like I said, he may have lived there before. Or he may have lived in a house that sat there before that house did. He may be buried in the ground underneath the house. There's just so many reasons you could be seeing that image. I'll be right back, you guys. I'm going to go run and make sure my candles are all still okay, okay? Be right back. I was going to do this video right quick and then go watch that movie. What you said it was The Witch in the Window? Okay. Oh, there's a movie I'm wanting to see when I get off here called The Witch in the Window. Has anybody seen it? Of course, a lot of times they're so stupid, I decide I don't want to watch any more of it. Wish my hair would dry. Where are we? Okay. I moved in this house when I was 5 years old, and my daughter started to see things in my mother's house as well. In 1910, and now I know the history of this house. Well, that'd be a good little project for you. Yeah, I don't know where historical foundation or how you go about maybe old property deeds, probably the library, if that's the same house that, that was there that many years ago, or what happened if there was another house sitting there, or what happened in that house if it was sitting there during this time. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of sounds like your daughter has your abilities. I think you told me what, she's 8. Where am I getting 8? I think she's quite a bit older than that, isn't she? Her and your son. Oh, I can't remember nothing. I don't know. But, I mean, if you want to converse with them, tonight's definitely the night to do it. As I have told y'all over and over again, and will still continue to do so, I don't like Ouija boards. I think a lot of them are extremely pretty. In fact, I thought about getting one just to hang on my wall. I wasn't going to use it in that manner. But honestly, after I thought about it for a while, I thought, no, I don't even think I want one in my house. And the reason being, it's not that I'm afraid of it. It's that if something was to come through there, I still honestly don't want to go through the havoc and the pain and the aggravation of trying to get rid of it. You see what I'm saying? It's not that I couldn't deal with it. It's I don't want to. So, prevention is 100% cure, as I always say. I just don't like them. Like I said, I've seen some that were so pretty. I mean, I have honestly seen some that were as big as dining room tables. And you probably could have used them as a dining room table. They were that pretty, but I don't know. I have a good friend that likes Ouija boards. I think she has 2 of them, and I was like, Angie, please don't get those. But it's their own. Yes, there was a house built in the backyard, but it got knocked down years ago before I moved in here, and my son is scared to go in the backyard. Oh, and children are like that. It seems every child is so open to the supernatural. They just have that innocence and that aura about them that is so easily penetrated. And that's another thing. You know, a lot of witches will not do their spell work in the house because of that reason, because of their children. You know, but how are you going to teach them? You know, how are you going to teach those children? I'm not saying go up to 2-year-old and have her start doing spells. That's not what I'm saying. When they get a certain age and you start explaining to them how it works, you put the protection around them until they get old enough that they can do it themselves. But no matter what you do, it just seems that the children have an easier sight. Maybe because they're so innocent and they're not, their thought process isn't trained the way an adult's is. You know, most people are taught to believe, oh, that don't exist, or their brain just cannot comprehend the fact that there's spirits walking around. It's not feasible, it's not logical, it doesn't happen. Okay. We talk about all these millions of people that see these things and hear these things and actually make movies about them, documentaries. You tell them they're not real. And that's so sad about the little girl crying, because can you imagine um, her waking up dead? I hate that word, but I don't know how to put it. No mommy, no daddy, nothing familiar. She can't get into her house. She doesn't know how to turn the doorknob, or her house isn't there anymore. And she's probably been wandering and crying for years and years. That's why I think it's pretty nice to try to help them to go, especially a little child, you know. And even if you can just appease them, you know, give them a toy, um, something that, you know, well, just like you would if they were your own. Try to ease them, you know. I don't know. I've only had that happen to me one time, and it was a little girl. I'd say she's probably 4. Um, and I heard her cry for several nights in a row, and I kept trying to get her, you know, to come to me. Um, I put things out for her, you know, to play with, toys, and I mean, back then my kids were young, so they had toys, you know. And I was honestly waiting on one of my kids to say, "Mom, I seen this little girl." They never did, but I heard her. I didn't ever really see her. I'd see something out of the corner of my eye, like just a shape, and then when I'd look, it was gone. But I just knew she was there. My son is going to be 23, and he sees ghosts everywhere he goes. So yes, my daughter's on her kitchen like me. Yeah, yeah. So they're not children anymore. I honestly believe. I mean, if you're a witch, and this will give you something. Well, you probably already know about it, Emily, but the third eye, which I'm not going to go into the whole medical field of it. It really does exist. The doctors honestly don't know what purpose it serves, but it's your pineal gland or pineal. Some people say pineal. I'm not gonna, tomato, but I say pineal. Um, and just because I know medical terminology, but it really is there. And as you get older, I'm a firm believer, and that's how come your pineal gland, which is your third eye, which gives you sight outside the human realm into other realms. It's what can help you heal yourself. It's a beautiful, magical, wonderful gland that the doctors honestly cannot figure out why it's even there. But us witches know why it's there, and we use it. But as you get older, and they've done, uh, see, I'm telling y'all, I'm losing my words. They have done, CAT scans and stuff, and found this gland, and it's centered right in the middle of your brain, and a little more towards the front, about, I don't know, right in here, of course, down. Um, they honestly don't know what it's there for. They've had their hypotheses and stuff like that, but they just don't know. But it exists, and if you learn how to use it, which is what most witches do, um, but as you get older, and they've done the studies on this too, you see a younger individual, because males have it too. Um, you do the CAT scan on their brain, and you'll see it, and it's a bright, not a bright, but a nice color. Um, it's perfectly shaped, and then you look at an older person's same thing, the same X-ray, and you'll see that it almost looks like how do I put it, a dried up prune. The rest of the brain seems fine, but that gland has pretty much become unusable, if it was ever usable in the first place with that individual. So that's honestly the elder witches. Um, and I'm not saying by no means that we are less powerful as we get older. That's not what I'm trying to get at. We learn to shift our power in other areas when that starts happening. I don't know how to explain that. Something, it comes with just knowing that we're getting at that age, and you forget. You know how it is as you get older. You believe you me, you start forgetting things. Um, who's to say that you're not going to forget your spell? And even if you do, you have it written down. You can read it. It makes you a little nervous. It kind of scares you. It's like, how did I forget that? You know, it just comes with age. It's all natural. And I think that's how come most of us older witches are hell bent on passing to the younger ones so that our craft does not die. Because once we leave this body and this realm, we will have all that power again. But we have to go through the aging process just like everything and everyone else. We are not special in that way. We live forever, but in a different form. So, I mean, it all depends on how you want to look at it. I mean, and you'll have other people that have different ideas, and that's all fine. Nobody can actually ever really figure it out until they're on the other side. And then what do? We have seances to ask them questions. And what I've been told, by whatever law is governed, they are not supposed to tell us what's going on over there or what we're in store for. If they do, they're, pretty much in trouble and they're afraid of the punishment. So that's like if you were to ask a ghost, if you came face to face with one, we're having a conversation with it, most of them won't even tell you their names. They may give you subtle hints, like the child in the bathtub. There's a reason he's sitting in that bathtub. I guarantee you. And there's you something to research. What if he drowned in that tub? What if he slipped and fell in that tub, hit his head, and it killed him? There's some kind of attachment that child has with that tub, or that you wouldn't be just seeing him there all the time. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'd go back before 1910 and find out what house was there, maybe who owned it. Your historical society should have all the information. Sometimes they don't. But I don't know. That would be something very interesting for me to look into if it occurred with me. I'd be on the phone calling everybody, okay, I'm at so-and-so address. Is there a house that used to sit behind me? It was. Who lived there? Do you know what their names were? Did they have children? I'd be investigating the hell out of that. That would just be extremely fun for me to do. That's what I'm trying to say. I would love to figure that out. And if I had the money, I would probably drive to you and find out for you. I don't know. I'm a little crazy. So. But yeah, this is the perfect time. And right now, in about 6 minutes, my time, don't be surprised if I'm not looking around me and I don't know. It's already pretty active around here most of the time. But yeah, there's a lot to do if you're a witch. You got one more night after tonight, and you can work till the sun comes up. Some witches prefer to work during the daylight, especially if they're in the Egyptian culture and follow Ra. Teach their own. I am much more comfortable at night and with the moon. That's just where I feel I belong. So that's what I've stuck with all these years. Not to say that I don't understand that the moon is, or the sun is important too. And there's every so often that I'll give thanks to the sun, or the sun god. It could be Helios, Ra. It just all depends on, what pantheon you follow. And also too, I had a question. I don't usually step out of my pantheon. I'm perfectly happy with my gods and goddesses, and usually I only work with Hecate anyway. I do. My Irish side draws me towards Bridget, and always has. So sometimes I'll work with her. I have worked with Fortuna, and I work with Bast, or some people call her Bastet, quite a bit because of my cats. When they get sick or something's going on with them, then I call on her. But usually it's just Hecate. I don't really find the need to go anywhere else most of the time. And she doesn't care if you're one of her followers, you're one of her daughters or children, including the males. She's not one of these jealous goddesses that are gonna smite you down because you work with somebody else on a certain spell. In fact, she may guide you to them. You know, she may decide, hey, this just per se, you know, this goddess needs practice, or she's a friend of mine. I think she could do this better and quicker than me. That's her specialty, you know, or whatever. Even though to me, Hecate is capable of anything and everything, but she's very busy. You know, I mean, she's not one of them doting, always there with you goddesses. She will be if you call her, but she expects you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. She teaches you, and even as witches, gives you even more power. Use that power. Come into your own power. Don't have to lean on her so much. You know, she wants you to be independent of that. Of course, she realizes we're still in this human form. There are things that we cannot do. And so she gladly steps down and guides us, or sometimes just does it for us. But um, like tonight, I said something to her really quick. You know, pretty much just thanked her for all she does. And then I let it be because she's extremely busy tonight. And she don't have time to sit and babysit me or anybody else for that matter. Um, we also have another goddess at this time of year um, refers to, and that is Persephone. Um, I'm sure you all know the story of Persephone. This is the time of year when she goes down into Hades to spend her time down there with him. And of course, when she comes back up, then you have spring. That's because Demeter is her mother, and Demeter gets extremely depressed and sad when Persephone's gone. They're very close. And so there's where the Greeks say we got our season winter, because Demeter's in charge of the foliage, gardens of growth, um, farms, and you know all that food production. And so when Persephone is below with Hades, then she's so depressed she don't want to do anything, and then therefore everything freezes over and nothing grows. And then of course when Persephone comes back out of Hades, and during the springtime, then Demeter is happy again, and then she starts to grow things again. Can you make wishes as well? What do you mean, can you make wishes as well? You can always make wishes. Once you become and are a full-blown witch, you don't make wishes. You say, this will be. Now, there's times that I'll still say, you know, um, if it's possible, because people ask some outlandish, stupidest things. I mean, they go really overboard and get idiotic with this stuff. No, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight, more than likely. Sorry, that's just not the way it works. There's a checks and balance that has to stay in place. Now, you know, as I say in my other videos, if you need money extremely fast for something that's detrimental, like your rent, or if your electricity may be going to be shut off or whatever, then you know you can ask for an amount that will suffice to maintain that house or your bill. But you don't go there once a week and say, I need $1 million. I mean, that's selfish. Number one, it's just stupid. You know, if everybody could do that, wow. They better start printing out more money is all I have to tell them. Jeez. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you mean by making wishes. We call them, or I call them petitions. Like I have a petition going in there right now and I've got to go check on it again. You write out a petition. Hang on, I'll be right back. Where's the silly girl? I have to keep this one right here out of my room when I got candles going. She loves to go in there and sit. Her do. I say, hi, Lexi. Looky there. Look. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, we put out petitions. I usually use certain paper. You don't have to write down what you're wanting or wishing for, and put your oils and your stuff on it, your intention in it. I usually, if I'm using a candle that I don't know, like maybe something like this that you can put something down in, you can use that. I usually when I have my herbs and my candle burning on a plate, and I usually have my petition underneath that plate. And then when the candle burns down and it gets all over the herbs, gets all over the herbs and that good stuff, then I'll pick all that up, wrap it in that paper, say my final to do about it, and I usually release it with fire. I'll take it and set it on fire and throw it out in my cauldron until it's burnt all the way up, and so it goes out into the universe. And then I'm done with it, and I forget about it. So, I mean, every witch will tell you a different way, probably. That's just how I do it, and that's not how I do it every time. It just depends on what I feel like doing or what I feel is necessary for that spell. I have made bags where kind of like you'd think a mojo bag looks like, and the remnants. I fold the petition up 3 ways, put it down in the bag, and then I'll put the burned candle wax down in it, and then all the herbs, and then I'll tie it up and hang on to it. Sometimes I'll leave it on my altar for Hecate to keep blessing, or sometimes I carry it in my purse. Just depends on what I'm wanting to do with it, what the bag is meant for. Protection, whatever it just all depends. I have buried them. Honestly, I'm kind of a cheapskate, so when I'm going to bury something, I don't put it in one of my nice bags, like my I call them little tiny gunny sacks. They're about yay big, and they're made out of gunny material. I have some that are silk, satin, or see-through mesh type stuff. Well, I can reuse them. I literally will wash them and reuse them. If I'm going to bury something, then I don't stick the whole thing in the ground with my bag. I pour the contents into the hole and say what my intentions are as I'm doing that. For one, you're not littering because the stuff that you're putting in that hole, the herbs, even the candle wax, because I use soy wax, is going to recycle. That bag never will, you know. Um, that's another thing, you know. I'm just so keen on um, taking care of the earth, not making a mess. So I will not say go out there and put your jar out, bury it in the yard somewhere, blah, 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 like a lot of them do. I'm not saying that's bad. Just if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But you don't want a backyard full of jars, do you? No, that's bad for the animals. That all that glass everywhere. There's no sense in it. Take it out of the container that it's in. If it's a hex, that might be a different story. First of all, don't bury it on your own property. That's not a good thing to do. Um, if it's a hex, you can go ahead and put it in one of those bags as you're doing the work and then burn it. I mean, it doesn't have to be buried, you know. Even if you were to bury it, as I say, never bury it on your own property. That shit can backfire like you wouldn't believe. So don't do it. Because anything else, I usually release things with fire. That's just my way of doing things. It gets the job quickly. It does not have anything to do with littering the soil. Um, I just think, and I like fire. I'm a fire witch. I guess you could say I'm a fire person. Not that I go around starting fires. I'm not saying I'm a pyro. I'm saying I enjoy fire. I work with fire a lot. That's my element. Even though my sign says it should be water, that's wrong because I don't care for water. I'm not one of these people that like to go swimming. Um, I love sitting and looking at it. You know, a swimming pool, yeah. I don't mind swimming in that. But I'm not one of these people that like to go out into the ocean and not even on boats. That's just it doesn't feel like my realm. So it makes me uncomfortable and I don't like doing it. Now I will sit on the beach all day and all night looking out at it. But no, I don't. But that's what, the people or whoever writes the book say that my element should be. And my sign, together with my sign. And it's what's weird is my sun sign is Virgo, which is um, the very have to be in order perfectionist type person. And then my moon sign is Taurus. Yeah. The temper, all that. So if that's not the opposites, I don't know what is, Taurus and Virgo, got a bull and a virgin. Wow. But anyway. But yes, here it is, 3:15. Things ought to start going on. I ought to turn on my spirit box. Are you still there, Emily? Who's still here? Carla? I guess Marcus left a long time ago. I don't even know who's still here. was hoping my buddy Aiden would get on here. I haven't got to talk to him in a while. But it is what it is. And some people may just now be doing their spells. I got mine done early. A lot of times I like to do them around 3 a.m. because 3 a.m. is just my time. But anyway, nobody's talking to me. I see y'all are here, but. And where'd Miss Carla go? Anyway, I guess I'll get off here. And I think I'm going to make me a snack. I have to stay awake until that candle burns all the way down in there. So it'd be a good time to watch the movie. If I can stay awake. If I get still long enough, I'll fall asleep. That's why I'm not good at watching movies. But I hope y'all had a blessed and are having a blessed All Hallows Eve. Happy New Year's to the witches. And I will try to come on here again tomorrow night. I'm going to try to do one every night. That's the thought process. Okay? Love y'all and blessed be. Bye-bye.